Welcome to today's video, guys. I want to ask you if you could click that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share this video. Leave us a comment down below as we're going and let me know if you would have done something different. We overall just like to hear from you. Guys, if you want to support us, head on over to our website, www.rngperformance.net, and support us over there. Buy some merch, R.N.G clutch kits. We got the best clutch kits for CFMOTO, and we'll get you hooked up really well. We want to say thank you. Jaguar Turbos sent us this turbo free on the house to support us and show us the love, and they just wanted to see this thing rip. I've had some of you guys question what turbo it is. We'll get into that in a later video, but for now, let's just enjoy this build. Finally, the turbo's here. Guess what? We're gonna get it plumbed up, mocked up, and tack welded in today. What do you say we get started on that bad puppy, eh? Now we got our turbo mocked up right about where we want it. We're gonna cut this catalytic converter off of here, and then we're gonna take a pipe, come down another turn, and come right into here, and we're gonna weld it all together, because this part will unbolt from the turbo. And if you ever want to take this pipe off, just unbolts from the head, and then down here it'll all come off, no problems, especially take that off there. But this is going to help us mount the turbo, so it will, be mounted. Guys, so we got our pieces cut here, and that's how we're going to plumb in the turbo. We are going to cut these tabs off, but we're going to tack weld this, then we're going to take it to the bench and get it fully welded, and then we'll worry about this. So I say we see if I'm a good welder, bad welder. Doing a leak test. Oh, welds, they don't look that pretty. But they ain't leaking, boys. Next, what we got to do is put a 1/2-inch plate here. So we're going to pull this off, go over to the bench, and build us a 1/2-inch plate that we can put a vacuum line into. So I had to take this thing back apart because we're making an aluminum spacer 1/2 inch going between the throttle body and the intake, so we can have vacuum lines. I got the aluminum coming, but I wanted to pull this apart and show you how we're oiling the turbo. Underneath the throttle body is the oil pressure sensor. We put a T on it, and as you can see, running it, it's not leaking or anything. Then we went a line right around and down in to the turbo. Let's see. That's that, like so. And then the drain, we come out of a rubber hose. We may switch that. It comes downhill. Let's see. downhill into this metal hose with some fittings on it, and then we drilled a hole into the dipstick tube right at the bottom. So it's coming downhill. Does kind of slightly go back uphill, but it should be fine. We put a fitting in there. All we did was drill it out. The fitting self-threaded in there nice and tight. Probably didn't need the JB, but we put it on there. That way it doesn't leak. I'm not really worried about looks down there at this point. Wish I could have made it a little cleaner, but it'll cost a bunch of more money. So that's how we did that. Also, on the oil pressure sensor, when you use this T, you have to use double stacked copper washers so it doesn't leak, because it doesn't screw all the way down in. The nipple is too long. So to combat that, double stack the washers. Shouldn't leak. Haven't seen it leak yet. All right, so we have to make an aluminum spacer plate because we got to put a vacuum line in on the intake side of the throttle body, because we're going to want, number one, our boost gauge. It does boost and negative pressure, vacuum. And we also want our wastegate, or our blow-off valve, basically, to come off of this. So one way, we got to make our own gasket, because I'm not going to mill this to accept the O-ring that's on the engine side. We're just going to make our own gasket, put some RTV silicone. It'll be fine. We'll gasket match it and everything. But one of the easiest ways to do this is to make the gasket first, then copy the gasket over on this plate of aluminum. And I have plenty of plate here just in case we screw it up. So one thing we want to do is we're going to want to poke holes, hopefully. Let me try this first. Okay. Now we'll open this hole up. Okay. That's not going to work. Let's just take our bolt and jam it down in. There we go. Yeah, we're going to want to make this gasket, put our bolts in first. It will keep it straight and where it needs to be. You're not going to hurt these bolts in any way doing this. Right there. Right like so. Okay. And another one. I really thought that would work. It's not. This is working better. I made gaskets like this out of cereal boxes. You don't want to use a cereal box gasket on this. But on a crankcase, that's fine. Just not something that's going to have boost and vacuum on it. So now, we have those in there, and they're going to hold this flat. Now you take your ball peen side, and you go around your aluminum hitting the edge, and it will create your gasket for you. Just like so. There we go. We have our gasket. Easy as that, easy to do. Trim off these little things, but it's super easy there to make a gasket. Not hard to do at all, guys. So if you ever need a gasket, remember, depending upon the gasket, you may want to go get gasket material. It's cheap. It's like 10 bucks for a big thing of it in different variety pack. Or you can use a cereal box. A cereal box will make intake. It'll make an intake gasket. You could use a cereal box on this, but because we're putting the turbo on it, probably shouldn't be using this, but it's better than a cereal box, so we're gonna use it. And if it works, it works. If not, I'll get a CNC and put an O-ring in, but I think it'll work just fine. So there we go. All right, guys. Looks like we got about 2 more tries left after we do this first one. Put some cutting oil down. Definitely want to get some cutting oil down in there. All right. Are you ready for it? There ain't no turning back. Oh, man. We're machining, baby. We're machining. I wish I had safety glasses. We're through the first. Man, that cuts the aluminum nice. Gotta go slow with it. I'm gonna change the belt on here just to make it run a little on the slower side. We had to turn her around because we don't want to hit this plate. Shoot some juice on in there, get started. Get a little groove for the oil to sit in. We're through. You Snap-on fanboys always making fun of our Harbor Freight tools around here. But man, for not being a machinist, they sure do a good job. Perfect hole. Wouldn't you say that? Matches up real nice. Now we just gotta cut it out. There you go. Handcrafted. And I must say, that looks better than some of those CFMOTO anchors that be out there hanging around. I did that all by hand. No machine, no lathe, no nothing like that. All by hand. And it looks good. That whole chunk of aluminum that I got this from was like $15. I have in this about 45 minutes. I could sell, if 2 little anchors are worth 40, this ought to be worth $295.99. Now this small bit, we're gonna wanna go all the way through with it. Okay, now we're gonna apply some silicone. To both sides of this. Spread it evenly. I actually got a little too much on there. It's a little too much. But get it down on there. Okay. Get off my fingers. I don't like this can. It's hard to control. It's simple. It's hard to control out of that can. Okay, we got our vacuum hose on there. We're gonna run a T off of that. But now we wanna get, oh, I hate this stuff. It doesn't come out of the tube right. Too much of it. Jeez. And it was $30. Are they on crack?
Yeah, it was expensive.
Okay. All right, guys, we're about to fire it up so you can hear it. I wanted to let you know, though, because I know some of you are going to comment. We're going to put a mount here. I have a rubber mount. We're going to get a stainless steel piece here and make a mount so it mounts to there. We're going to do that. And then we're actually going to do a mount between the two here that bolt together. And we're also going to do a mount here because we want to keep these from bouncing. And once they're up into place, you'll see a lot of you are asking me about shock room. It's hard to see on camera, but we have a lot of shock room for these, for it to move. But we're going to get a mount, make a mount here to keep that one here. And we're going to fine tune them a little bit. But I'm going to put the blow-off valve right here. Should be enough room for it. At least I'm hoping there is. I really don't want to put it there. I really don't want to put it here either. But we're going to, I think I can trim these boots and make it fit here. And then we're going to have a mount that holds this steady here. There's one there, but it's broke. It's been broke. But I got to get a clamp there, clamp there. A lot of you are asking me, do I really think that this airbox is up for the task? Well, I think it will. If not, though, the only piece I'm going to keep is this piece. I'm going to put a big elbow here and just spank a uni filter on it. Or I might poke it into the cab and run a uni right there. That way, if it rains, it doesn't get wet. But I think that it will. I really do. I think it'll be fine. But that's the overall setup on it. And there's I wanted to clean this up more along the lines of the throttle body itself. But I don't have the specific tooling to be able to do that fine of work. But other than that, it's there. And then whenever I go to cut those out to sell them, I'll have the machinist kind of do his thing to make it actually fit better. There we go. I don't know what this is. Oh, a lot of wires to get zip tied. O2 sensor, I gotta hook this up. That stuff right there. I got the vacuum line, I got it blocked off just by that bolt. That way we can start it up and see. Fires right up. But give it just a couple of whacks. It's not tuned, so we really shouldn't be doing that. But all for the name of science. Guys, she does not want to take throttle, and I cannot blame her because you have this thing right here just cramming a lot of air. It's hot. A lot of air down her throat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, she's gonna act a little funky. And a lot of you guys were asking me who I was gonna have tune it. Well, we're in the process of that, but I can tell you one thing: we know who is not gonna tune it. So, I just got to button this up and get these, after I get the blow-off valve in there, hopefully it goes in there. If not, it's probably going to go out here somewhere. It'll fit right there just fine, really, it would. But we're going to figure it out. I'm hopefully going to get it in there, and then we'll get these up. And we got some room to work with, and there's plenty of room for those shocks. And yeah, so we'll be able to do that. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Share this video. Let's get the views, get the subscribers in here. Leave us a comment down below. It took me 3 weeks to film this video, so each part you're seeing is like a lot of time. So there's a lot of stuff that we didn't really show you. Just kind of went overall how we did it, so you got a general idea. There is a couple more things we got to tidy up, but in all reality, all we really need to do next is tidy these and get the AFR gauge hooked up and get the vacuum lines hooked up, but we're waiting on the blow-off valve. So, all right, guys, peace out. God bless. I can't wait to rip this thing.